Okay. Can y'all see it okay? Can y'all see it okay? Like, is it on? Okay. Okay. Okay, got you. Oh, the stream being up. Oh, yeah, seeing the stream is up. Okay. 3, 2. Oh. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We are here with the KI Live team. We're going to be discussing Novus. We're going to talk about the lore of Wizard101 leading up to this point of this amazing world and everything like it took to help build and create it. And I'm going to start introducing the KI Live team, or the KI team. Starting with Sam. How you doing?
Doing all right. I am Sam Johnson. I am the lead narrative designer. You may also know me as Blind View from back in the day.
Nice, nice. Carl, welcome.
Hey, thanks. My name is Carl Holbert. I am the art director at King's Isle Entertainment. And I've been around for a long time. I originally was an environment artist back in the day. Been here since almost day one.
Nice, appreciate you. Spark, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm Spark. I am the senior community. I'm sorry, I'm watching your video at the same time here, and I love that mount. I'm Spark, and I love mounts in Wizard101. That's what I do. Now I'm the senior community manager, and yeah, I actually hang out with the community. So, you know, I do have a selection of mounts on all my characters. And I'm here though today to kind of hang out with all of you and, you know, listen to the stories of Sam and Carl.
Okay. And Kyle, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing wonderful. My name is Kyle Icefielder. I am the community manager for Wizard101, and I am extremely happy to be here.
Okay, thank you all. And if you're just getting into the stream, again, we're discussing the story of Wizard101 and Novus and everything like that. We first going to start off with the events leading up to Novus. So do anybody want to explain the events leading up to it, to this moment?
Sure. Well, jumping in, and I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, but I can't guarantee that I will be successful.
Spoilers.
Everybody streamed it when we went to test. So really, I mean, you can find it if you go looking. So Novus is the third world of our fourth arc. And originally, we'd thought that the arc was going to be 3 worlds, but then once we got into it, we realized it was going to be more. And the theme of the fourth arc is really different than the previous ones. I said when we got started that I wanted to do something different. And I've seen comments out in the community that people didn't like this arc because it didn't have a big bad and whatnot. And well, we were experimenting with a few things. And really, the interesting thing about Novus is that it was the core idea of what Novus is. There's this new world from outside the spiral that is kind of changing the longer you are in contact with it. That notion was actually the first idea we had for Arc 4, period. And like, you know, the introducing of the new world almost happened at the end of Imperia 2. But the more we thought about it, the more we realized that it was too much too fast. When it came to the nothing, we wanted you to have time to get to know the nothing and to put all of that into context. And so we let it breathe a lot more. So now, you know, Novus has been the culmination of 2 worlds up to this point. And in these worlds, we've been dealing with the Nothing, who eventually named himself Dasein. And so we've gotten to tell an interesting story about existential philosophy and what it means to exist and what it means to be good and stuff like that. And, you know, make lots of cool references.
Okay. My I really love the story. That's why I was, go ahead. What happened?
Oh no, keep going.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that throughout this whole experience of getting all the way up to Novus, I loved every single arc, and this arc has been feeling a bit different than, like, I feel like the writing in the other arcs, or like the direction it was going in. Usually you see like the big bad in like the first world of each arc, so you'll know who like you're going against, you know, compared to this direction. And I was kind of weirded out by at first, but I kept following, and I actually love this direction that's going in, and seeing how Novus is with the ending and everything. Well, this might be my favorite.
Well, I thank you. It's an old storytelling mode, honestly, and it's one that I usually swear by. You know, think back to Star Wars, and you know, you've got Darth Vader on the screen within 7 minutes of the movie starting. And so, you know, oh, that's the bad guy. Okay. You know, and in video games, you know, it's, oh, that's the bad guy. I need to hit him. And then the rest of it is the quest to hit him. But yeah, we really wanted to change the pace. And we wanted to start slow. It had a bit of a slow burn. Caramel is almost, you know, think of it as a prologue instead of being World 1 of the 4th arc. Because you do meet the Nothing at the end of that. But it is very brief, and it has so little context that you don't know what the heck just happened. You know, and then in Lemuria, we explain to you what just happened, and then it starts to build on itself from there.
Okay. I feel like we should get right into the questions. Do y'all want to get into the questions of Novus and everything?
Say something, Carl.
Okay, sir. I'll say yeah, sure. You do story time, man. I'm just talking. I like when art stuff comes up, I'll say something.
Okay. Yes, let's do some questions.
Okay. So again, this is a spoiler alert kind of stream. We're gonna be talking about a lot of points in Novus and even like the spiral itself, in a sense. So the first question, near the end of the world, do we know where Manticore is from?
Manticore, who plays a big part in Novus. And I'm running right up against the edge of spoilers here. I will say that yes, we know where he is from, or rather, I know where he's from. Carl does too. And I will say that it is a place the wizard has been before. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. You can kind of tell by looking at him where he's from. Anyway. Next.
The next question is Grandmother Raven and Grandfather Spider staying out of the spiral conflicts now for good. Now, we know what happened with the voice actress for Grandmother Raven. Rest in peace to Miss Dell. But I'm just wondering if we'll even like see Grandfather Spider, or is he staying out of conflicts just like Grandmother Raven? Are they just staying out?
Given Dell's passing, I feel like it would be a disrespect to her to even, you know, sound alike the character. So I feel like the game has grown beyond Raven a little bit. I know she was the narrator in the beginning, but we've tried to set up things a little differently so that you don't need a narrator that much anymore. And I mean, my intent at the end of Imperia was to take Raven and Spider off of the stage, because if they remain and, you know, they have an opinion about everything that's happening, well, why don't they just, you know, fix it? What are we here for if they're active and running around and stuff? So I think we put a bow on it, and, you know, they have moved on. Now, say like Bat and Mallory, that's a very different question. and there are no immediate plans. But if the opportunity presented itself, I would love to see either or both of them again.
Nice, thank you. The next question is, what world do you think would have conquered Novus if the wizard wasn't involved? Now, if you know, Novus is basically like a whole conquering ordeal. So like everybody wants to control it, but since everybody got here kind of like at the same time, they're all conflicting. So I'm just asking, because at one point in the story, they all break out fighting. Who do you think would have won out of that whole conflict if the wizard wasn't involved? Would it be Marleybone, Valencia, Maquista? Who do y'all, in your personal opinion, think would have won?
What do you think,
Question
Carl?
for everybody, because that's a good point, Carl. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
So for me, I would tend to think Marleybone, maybe Valencia, just because I mean, you know, the theme of like colonialism and all that stuff is just so heavy, and I think Marleybone is kind of our big kind of colonial pairing. Like I think that's their shtick, man. That's what they do. They go around places and plant flags. So for me, it would have been them. And then I kind of debate whether it might have been Valencia, just because they got the tech. You know, they're the ones that are kind of, you know, getting that tech around the spiral. They've got the money. So yeah, that's a tough one, you know, because I mean, would the Valencians brought the clockwork back? But they would have, yeah, it could be interesting. I don't know. But yeah, my vote would be for Marleybone.
I would have to agree, honestly. Just because, like, they got there first, right? They probably got, like, layout of the land. Who knows? And they were pretty sneaky. Like, there was more going on behind the scenes. Spoilers. But yeah.
Yeah. Spark, do you have an opinion on which world do you think would have conquered if the wizard wasn't involved?
That I would have conquered?
What world do you think? What world power do you think would have conquered Novus if the wizard wasn't involved?
Oh gosh.
We got 2 votes for Marleybone so far.
I don't know why. No, I don't think it would be Marleybone, but I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I don't know if I can decide on that one. I'm not sure. I have to think about that more.
So,
can I abstain? Because I know I would like if you know, I would take over everything if it was me personally, not my wizard character, not my persona in the game, but like me. But that's, you know, we don't want to talk about that.
So, anyone who's played Pirate 101 knows how much I love Marleybone. I am a tremendous Anglophile. I consider the Marleybone section of Pirate 101 to be the best work that I have ever done in my career. So how could I vote for anybody else? But at the same time, you know, it's a tough question. I think Valencia and Marleybone would really fight it down to the wire. I don't think the Penguins are organized enough, and I don't think the Maquistans, I don't think there are enough of them. It would come down to the unicorns or the dogs, and yeah, I mean.
That's interesting, because I'm always kind of intimidated by the Penguins. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Just where they are culturally, I don't think they're going to produce a huge army.
Well, but, and I know for sure, like Polaris and Monquistan, or like Monquista, they had an alliance. Of course, it gets a little rocky because of everything that goes on. But maybe if we didn't get involved, they wouldn't have broken apart so much.
Yeah, now we're into heavy pirate territory.
This is not.
Yeah. And by the way, this was not my intention. I've seen all the comments and all the chats from all the streamers going, "This is Pirate 101. This is Pirate 101," and you know, I have been eager to throw a little Pirate 101 in there for quite some time. And the way I look at it, we have a spiral cinematic universe, and
yes.
You know, we did lots of nice wizard callouts in Pirates. So I figure it's time for it to go the other way.
Yep.
And incidentally, if you haven't played Marleybone and Pirate, go get Pirate and play all the way up to Marleybone.
Right.
Oh, please do. It is before Novus, Marleybone was my favorite because of Pirate and just, oh my god. It's incredible.
So yeah, do that or else. All right. Thank you. Moving on.
I mean, at this point for me, this is better than like Marvel and DC at this point. I might be biased though to me playing Wiz for like over 10 years. But I think it's a great universe going on. Now, Sam, I don't believe you answered the question yet. Have you, Sam?
Oh, Carl for sure has answered one. We want art questions for Carl.
We'll have art questions.
Mhm.
We'll
I have
get
a couple
there.
art ones.
It'll happen.
We're gonna take questions from chat too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, great. So if anybody in chat you want to start thinking of which questions to ask Sam or Carl, or I suppose Kyle and myself as well, go for it. I think we're gonna take those a little bit later.
Yes. Oh, I just want to say my personal opinion. I probably think that I agree with like Marleybone and Valencia are the last ones fighting it out. Well, no, I personally think, well, yeah, that's right. Because Polaris, they was very heavy in their like military. This is back to the pirate stuff, but the Polarians was so strong to where they had to make the Armada. So since Valencia came up with the idea of doing all that, and since like the Clockworks almost took over and everything, Valencia's power in like engineering and stuff is very strong, just like Marleybone. So I agree with like those two worlds fighting it out to the death, or being the last two to fight it out and wiping the other ones out the way.
Cool.
And the next question is there a particular reason why the Wizard never heard of the Armada before Novus? Was it always meant to be hidden from the Wizard until a tie-in with Valencia happened? Because the Valencia thing happened a long time ago. So I was just wondering like why it wasn't mentioned previously. Like, was y'all waiting for a tie-in with Valencia?
No. I'm going to draw back the curtain and give the straight answer that, for the longest time, Wizard wasn't that much into giving shout-outs to Pirate. In the time travel quest, in the boxes, there actually is some Armada that shows up in the portion where you meet Booch and Gandry, and I know that about the time the Wizard got to Polaris, that was where things got weird in our timelines. Because, well, where's Napoleon? Is he in jail? Has he been freed? What's going on? And so around Polaris, we just kind of stepped back and stopped trying to marry the timelines, because the Polaris story was going in a direction where having Napoleon in there would have disrupted it. So as a result, I figured we've been away from it a while. It's a long time since Polaris, and I mean, my original intention was that the two games were running roughly concurrently, which means that the end of Pirate as we know it, Valencia 2, happened maybe sometime during
I was actually talking with Chris.
so much longer Pirate Worlds.
Yeah, I was actually talking with Chris a while ago, a little bit before Novus came out, and this is all like hearsay. This isn't like actually anything true. But I was like, it would have been so cool. Like, Novus would have been such a great world to introduce in both games, kind of like what you're saying. The timelines eventually would just kind of be together. They would make sense. So if Novus came out, it would be really cool to see like a shard above Skull Island one day, and then you could have gone to that shard.
Oh.
I root for like Easter eggs and stuff between both games. I love when I hear like Easter eggs and stuff, like the Shadow Queen in Azteca, in the Azteca section. That was a great one.
Oh yeah.
And the librarian in Pool Ranch, when he announces Wizard, and then he's like, "Oh my bad, pirate," like stuff like that.
Already?
I really love.
In Marleybone?
Hey, that would be tight.
Oh no, like we see Meow Yardy and Marleybone for pirate.
He's there. He's in jail.
Yeah,
Hold
we
on.
gotta talk to him.
He's in
He's
jail?
playing Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, he's in prison. And,
Yeah. That's like one of
yeah.
the first things you do when you get to Marleybone. You gotta go talk to him.
How
I
did
remember
forget
losing
that?
it. That was like what? That's probably why I fell in love with Marleybone. I was like, it's him.
dude, come on. How can you not write Yardy into
Exactly.
a Marleybone plot?
was great.
You just, I mean, come on. It was hard to keep Sherlock and company out of it, but yeah, I kept Meow Yardy in there.
Okay.
And-
oh wait, say that
yeah.
again?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, I was gonna say the next one also deals with like there's a lot of pirate because Novus is tied in with like two pirate worlds, two very strong pirate worlds. So these questions are kind of like asking similarities to pirates since they're in the same joint. So the next one is, what made y'all decide to take Novus in a direction of dealing with like the spiral powers and include more pirates lore? Because in the past they really never dealt with like spiral powers in a sense. I know like pirate is really heavy on like their politics and stuff, as in like inside the spiral, obviously like helping worlds with their like wars and stuff like that in a sense. But what made y'all want to like kind of take pieces of that and add it into Novus and add it into like the Wiz side?
Well, part of it was there's a few things going on here. When I first got to King's Isle a long time ago, the idea that I worked out with the creative director back then was basically we were looking at the games as two different kinds of stories. Wizard101 is your chosen one narrative. That's your Luke Skywalker story. And Pirate 101 is your street level narrative. The rogue with the heart of gold, your Han Solo in that game. And so the notion became really, that within the spiral there tend to be two things going on at a time. There's the big stuff that the wizard is doing that may not float down to street level very often. And then there's the stuff that the pirate is doing that, the wizard isn't really ever dealing with. And the like in Wizard 101, there's never really been a time when you would have lots of people from more than one of these worlds together. And so I really loved the idea of doing that, of having this, turning the standard world model inside out. Usually, okay, pirate goes to world has trouble, pirate fixes trouble, and in so doing figures out what the big bad is up to and confronts big bad. In this one, everybody goes to world, they bring trouble with them. And so again, it was a way for us to turn things on their head. And with regards to the empires and whatnot, we've been just with the way that Arc 4 has gone, we have indirectly morphed into making commentary about things. And I think we're bringing more commentary into the plot line than we ever have before. And yeah, this time we wanted to make a statement about colonialism. It's tough to do. It's a very intense issue, but I think we found a decent spot for it. So there you go.
I mean, like, yeah, like even with like design and everything, I see what y'all trying to like to write with his character, and even I seen what y'all trying to do, like writing him in the first world of Arc 4, like introducing him and everything, especially through like Lemuria. I really seen his character, and it's even more established in Novus. But I'll mention what I saw later on.
Oh,
about what I saw
so
about
Carl, did you dig having to build all of these different critters?
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as like it's a great point, Sam. I mean, when we talked about, having colonialism be a theme, I think that it's, we've always had, analogs for all of these different, races across the spiral. So, British, Spanish, French, the historical, kind of links are pretty darn obvious. So, having, when you're talking about a new world, so to speak, and you have all these powers coming in to basically set claim, it just seems logical to do the old world powers, right? I think that just made perfect sense. And then I think the nice thing is too is when we did it on the art side, we took something we took really to heart when we did Lemuria. There was a lot of some of it true, some of it false accusations about reuse. So when we did this, we also wanted to make sure that we brought something better. A lot of these characters from these worlds, from Pirate, they needed to be touched up. They needed talk animations. They needed, extra stuff that we've added since a lot of this stuff came out. So, and even with the Marlebonians, like we pretty much did almost all new dogs except for the kind of ambients that are just kind of hanging around. So we really wanted to make sure that we gave the players what they were asking for. They didn't want a whole bunch of reuse. So we tried to do the right thing and fix that.
So, yeah, they definitely look different. Yeah, they look definitely different.
Eyes and mouths. Yeah.
Yep.
The next one I have here is, do you think that the wizard will have a very tough situation in the future on deciding whom to help in the next couple of worlds due to multiple worlds wanting vengeance on the wizard? Now, if you haven't completed the story, again, this is a spoiler stream. At the end of Novus, we everybody won heat with us because Design is done. Design, I keep saying the name wrong, but he's done.
Design is fine.
Design is done. He's tired of everybody. He's trying to do stuff right, and they just getting mad at him. He literally wants to help everybody out, but they're just mad and and he's getting mad and frustrated that he's trying to help them, but they're just wanting to be mad at each other and all that crap. So I'm asking, is the wizard going to have to deal with a tough situation on who to help due to multiple worlds wanting to attack the wizard and Design wanting to not even be involved anymore? So like, is it going to be tough for the wizard?
This is going to be the problem next world. One of the things that I also was very into when we started writing the fourth arc, with all the criticisms of not having a big bad, kind of a spoiler here, but not really. Ultimately, we wanted to set up a situation where, from the point of view of everybody else in the spiral, the wizard is the big bad. Here's this dude, this wizard guy, he's really powerful. He brought this thing into our universe that's now going to destroy it. They're bad. We need to stop them. And so, yeah, that's where we are. There are going to be a lot of people gunning for the wizard next time.
Yeah, there was a great moment, I think, Sam, when you're it's towards the end when you're hanging out with, Rottingham in New Vicorgia, and he literally, he gets brutal and comes right at you, and he's just like, hey, no one asked you to come into this. Like, you're not even from here. This is the spiral. Like, how dare you come in here and think that you know better than us? And that was one of those things that kind of slapped you in the face. You're just like, whoa, what? Well, he's kind of right. Like, he's got this point. So it just really kind of makes you think about who you are as the wizard. Are you the good guy? Are you the bad guy? And I think that's what Sam was going for, and the writing team really accomplished that brilliantly.
It's not just me. I have two writers who work under me, and the way that we typically do things, once we have the outline and the through line and everything, we will divvy the world up, and each of us will write the script for one major area or whatnot. And then, we put them all together and we read it and we edit it to make sure that it sounds like, one unified thing instead of, something that three different guys wrote. And the first time I read the whole script end to end, there are a lot of slaps in the face. And I remember thinking, whoa, this is intense. This is like, in some ways, it's darker than Azteca is dark.
Azteca, that's crazy. Azteca crazy.
And yeah, I mean, we got Azteca dark, and I thought, you know what? I was really scared by it, and then I was like, nope, this is what we're gonna do. This is it. So yeah, I love it when people, as a writer, if I can create things that make people think, that is my bliss. That is what I do. That is why I do this. And so I saw something there oof, that really makes you ponder. And so that was when I knew that Novus was going to shake the pillars of heaven.
I think
And I
before
mean,
that,
that's-
for me, before Novus, Caramel was kind of in line with that as well on some of the quests. I guess since we're spoiling, excuse me, something caught in my throat. You're playing through the quests of Novus right in the beginning, and you're there to help them out. But then you get into a confrontation where the lemurs are very jittery anyway, and then they're like, "Wait, he's here to help us, but he's the guy who did this and that," and then they gang up on you, and for me, I was like, "Wait a minute here, what's my place suddenly here?"
Yes, we've been, and again, that was, that ties back to the goal of Arc 4. We want to do something that was different. And instead of having, an escalating tier of big bads that finally got to the god level, we were like, are there different ways that we can tell a story? Are there different shapes that we can make this narrative? And so far, I would say we've been pretty successful.
Well, I mean, the beauty of it is too is like the design the whole time. Even through Lemuria is he's wrestling with what is it to be good, what is it to be bad.
And I love that.
And I think that really just kind of Novus is the next logical step in that, and I think it just was superb. Like I mean, personally, I see a lot of questions in the chat of like, oh, what's everyone's favorite world? I have some, but I think writing wise, I think Novus is by far my favorite so far.
Oh yeah, it's great.
I would 100% have to agree. I mean, well before the world was released, I already was like, this is going to be my favorite world, because I sat in on story times with Sam, and and like I've never heard a story as juicy as this one. I mean, we were leading up to this with this arc, but when I heard about this story, I was like, one, I love Pirate 101, so there's a lot of nods to Pirate, and it's just deeper and darker, and it's what I really love about this world. So yeah, I'd have to agree. Novus
It's
takes the cake.
strange and makes you really think, and that's what I love about it.
Yes. So in regards to the whole arc, and again, this is something probably that people have figured out, but in Caramel, you're dealing with the nothing. You're dealing with Dasein as an infant.
Yep.
It is only doing what it has seen, and it is incapable of speech. In Lemuria, Dasein, the nothing, is a child with, learning what is good and what is bad, and everything seems to be right and wrong, and black and white, and I get it now, light and shadow, yes. And then in Novus, Dasein hits adolescence and realizes that life is not fair. And whatever you think of as good may not be what anybody else thinks is good. So what is good? And what if there might not be such a thing as good? This is what we're playing with. So,
Desserts, they're only good. I threw a tangent in there, but I just had to call that out. There are some fundamental good things in the world, and a nice, delicious dessert is one of them.
And I just wanted to mention that I really love the writing, just like everybody agrees, because I'm not going to lie, when I was making these questions, I had to listen back to certain dialogue pieces, and one dialogue that literally almost teared me up, like that made me tear up, and like usually like no world ever did that in Wiz, even though I love the writing. It was the part at the end, close to the end, where he was like he just keeps getting used, and how he like done with everything. He was like, I seen enough, and he was like, this is good. Like, how am I supposed to do good when everybody gets mad at me and saying that I'm bad, and like I legit try to help everybody? So that whole conversation that he had with the wizard at the end, before he says I reject everything, that got me teary-eyed, because I was like, yo, he really struggling, because he wants to be part of everybody. He wants to be part of everything. Yep. And like everybody rejecting him, even though he tried his hardest to satisfy everybody.
Yeah.
And that was a crazy point for me.
Yeah. For me, it was when he says, "This is not what I wanted to be." That was the one that made me go, "Whoa!" when I read that on the page. You know, because here he is. He's gone through this long, meandering quest to be a real boy, to be something, and now that he's here, he is not what he wanted to be. That was where I just went, "Whoa!" Yeah,
And I mean, it's that relatable. There's definitely that relatable kind of experience that a lot of people have had, where you put your heart and your soul into something, you know, and then someone just slaps it out of your hand, you know. And I think that's what's so that's what's so emotional there, right? Is you see this character who is the child that made the beautiful gift, and you know, the parent comes along and just slaps it onto the floor and says that's ugly or that's horrible, and that's literally what happened to him. And it's heartbreaking. It's truly heartbreaking, and you really feel for Design at that moment.
Yeah, it broke my heart. It really did when I read that part.
When we set out to make Arc 4, I don't think that's where we envisioned going to. But when we got there, I was like, yeah, okay, this is a story. This is good. And so I was very pleased with that.
Sam, I got a question for you on that. There's something I've been curious that I think the community, we talked about it before, but I think the community will enjoy an answer to this. We're both writers. I've written, you know, for the community, and when I write something, especially if it's fiction based, I tend to have, you know, that basic idea that you start with, but then as you write, you get almost into this point where the writing writes itself. It's almost like somebody else is there on the journey with you. The characters then, as they develop, they are like trying to advise you somehow in this mystical way in the back of your mind. Hey, it should be this. Do you get that too?
Oh yeah, those are the best bits. George R.R. Martin recently said, you know, there are two kinds of writers. There are architects and there are gardeners. And architects build an outline and they build a structure and then they fill it. And then gardeners, you know, they plant stuff and they look and see what comes up and they prune here and there, you know, and then they're like, you know, trimming the bonsai tree to make it perfect. And it takes a long time. But I am definitely an architect, but even then I will say that there are moments, when the stuff writes itself. So I'll give you a concrete example. I ended up doing all of the Valencian and Monquistan stuff. And when you get there, you spark a controversy among the Monquistans, a religious controversy. And I just love writing Monquistans. I could write Monquistans forever. I had so much fun doing them in Pirate. And so all of that stuff, it just kind of happened as I was writing it. You know, on the outline, we were like, oh yeah, go here, talk to this guy, do this, talk to that guy. And then suddenly there's just supplementary dialogue where it's like, oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. You know, and the sacred tree and whatnot and plantains. And it just all hopped in. And I was like, that's funny. And yes, those are gold when you get them. That's what you do this for. Yeah.
I have another question on the list. This is an art question. This is art. Shout out to Tap. Appreciate you, Tap. Shout out to Tap. Okay, so this is the art question. So, as you know, when we were building, when I was building up to release Novus with the little teasers, Easter eggs, and everything, on one of the pictures, I wonder if it's a loading screen here. I'll probably go through one of these loading screens. The thing was, it was cover art, showing all the worlds. Not all the worlds. It was cover art showing the main people of Novus. But I was wondering, when y'all showed it, was y'all planning on people knowing where it was at? I mean, like, what it was? Like, was y'all planning on for people to know the story when they just seen that cover art? Or was you planning on people to not catch the hint at all of the art of people standing around this table?
You mean the loading screen?
Oh, that.
I know what you're
loading
talking about. The spoiler wall.
Yes.
Yeah, but
the spoiler.
We
wall,
also
definitely,
used it as the promo image. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the spoiler wall was built to kind of dual function as a promo image, and it's just a teaser. It's one of those things where when we do stuff like that, I work really closely with writing to make sure that when it's made that we don't give away too much, right? You want it to titillate. You want it to basically see like, okay, who's this guy? Like obviously he's a Marley. You want the viewer to actually start coming up with stories in their head, whether they're right or wrong, because it's fun. It's fun to imagine. And even with the other loading screen that we did, the fun part about that is we kind of wanted to do the same thing, just in a completely different style. So the actual loading screen that we just saw, the one with the reflective, eye in the middle and the top hat and all that stuff, it was the same thing. There's bits and pieces from every single world, or zone in Novus in there, and hints to the old one, into design and stuff like that. It's just really esoteric because we wanted to do the whole surrealism thing. So that one's just a very surrealism kind of version of the same thing. It's just that like little bits and pieces. You're gonna see what you're gonna get, but it's just little hints just to kind of whet the appetite, so to speak.
You haven't done the painting quest yet.
Oh no!
Do that. Somebody on forums
do the painting quest.
Do it. Somebody on forums told me today that they really, really enjoyed it, and that you need to do it. I'm not gonna tell you what you're gonna get because it's just great, but do it. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me sign up right now.
On a free time.
Oh. Okay, I can do it while we do the call. I go on autopilot. Sometimes when I play Wiz, I go on autopilot, so like I can do like multiple things. But the next question I have is, what is? It also helps like the art situation because it's like design wise. So like, what is your favorite looking area in Novus? Like, what area do y'all like the most, like aesthetic wise?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's tough. That's like one of my artists will get one of my artists will be really happy, and the rest of them will be really upset with me.
Yeah, here are these gems of the areas. Pick one.
I mean, honestly,
choose your favorite child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. There's there's different parts of the different areas that I really love. So for instance, I love the anomaly in Puerto Nuevo. I love Conatus, the hub, simply because I love that when you get there, it's instantly, every streamer I've ever watched react to it is the perfect reaction of what I want. It was just the jaw drop and the kind of WTH, like what the heck am I looking at? And that was the reaction we were going for. And I love the gallery as well. I mean, the gallery is just it's beautiful, it's odd, it's fun. I mean, there's so much about this world overall that I love, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be Conatus. That or the crazy stairs interior, because it was another one that was just so much fun to watch come together.
That was a crazy area, I feel like, for me too.
For me, it's crazy stairs, hands down.
Oh dang.
Yeah, I have one of my favorite kinds of experiences in this job, and I did this a lot in Pirate. I haven't done it as much in Wizard yet, but the whole notion of coming up with something and going, I don't know how they're going to do this, but sure. Like in Pirate, when you jump inside the giant robot and you fight Stormzilla. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but yeah, let's do it. Crazy Stairs was that way. I was like, I want a zone that looks like this and behaves like that. I have no idea how they're going to do it. And what I got was better than what I imagined. Yes, love it.
And that was a lot of even this whole world in general with Novus, right? I mean, when Sam came to us, and the writers came to me, and they were like, okay, so here are the general ideas that we're trying to eschew here. This is what we're trying to put forth. And I was like, oh my god, this is a mess. Like, this is just a mess of, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Like, it was like, it's so rich. Like, there's so much going on, and it's so complicated. and like weird. I'm like, I don't even know like what we would do. And that's, I think, for the moment I was just like, okay, we have to do surrealism. Like we've got it. This has got to be all based, like, you know, and instantly like all the Reds like, yes, perfect. Yes, this is what we're gonna do.
And in the back of their minds, the writers were going, okay, I don't know how they're gonna do that, but it sounds great.
So, but yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but it was something that the art team got behind very quickly and just fell in love with. You know, for instance, like what you're playing right now with the banana spiders, it's like, when else are you going to get to animate a giant walking banana spider? You know, when else are you going to get to make something like that? It's just, it's fantastic. So it was definitely a challenge at first, but then everybody kind of got it and just ran with it, and it just came out gorgeous.
Yeah, it all integrates really well. The banana spiders are probably my favorite mob, but to answer the question that was asked a bit ago, and we were talking about Marleybones a little bit earlier, New Vicorgia is probably my favorite area. I love the first time I saw it, when we were gathering screenshots, Colin and I were taking a bunch of screenshots of the areas in preparation for the announcements and all of that. And we had a great time going through each of the areas. And when I hit New Vicorgia, I was like, okay, I don't know what's that was the first time where I really said, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why all these fire hydrants are all over the place, but something about this is just really amazing. And then I just kept exploring from there. So that's my favorite.
Cool story about New Vicorgia. I think that was probably the first world, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, or first zone where we knew kind of what we were going to do with it, right?
Yes.
Because we were just like, well, it's the Marlebonians. They mark their territory. I think the little bit of fun insight, I think the very, very first idea for it was going to be a giant wagon that had these fire hydrants on it. And as the wagon moved around like a sphere, it was just going to plant flags as it drove by.
Yes.
You know, and that was the very kind of early iteration of what we thought New Vicorgia was going to be. So that idea, you know, and it was just all running with the personality of every single race. It was like, okay, let's take all these different races. What's their core? What's their desires? What's their beliefs? And how do you build that in world form? Like, what does that look like if you were to make it into a world or into a piece of art? So that was, New Vicorgia was a lot of fun. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, man.
I love it too because of the order. Everything is regimented. It's very British in that way. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, yeah, it's perfectly cool, man.
We are actually in chat. I wanted to mention this. You have a very active chat here, Speedster, and we're trying to actually answer some side questions in there as well. So if anybody is, I guess you watch this afterwards, we are a little bit in the chat too, just in case anybody's just listening right now.
I have another question. The next question I have is, what do you love most about the Novus world? You can start, Sam, if you want.
I love how it jumps between silly and serious. That's what I love about it. If you look at, you know, there are characters in there, when you look at them, they are so self-absorbed and so just hostile, greedy, silly that it's ridiculous. And yet, when you look at what they're doing and the consequences of what they're doing, it is not at all funny. That's what I like about it.
Okay. Carl, do you have a favorite thing of this world or not?
I know this is gonna sound weird. I honestly love how much the players love this world. That's my favorite thing about this world. I mean, it is it was probably the world on the art side. I mean, because like I said, it's everything about it is based about it's all about art. When art is very personal, and when we create art for Wizard, it's a very personal experience for my artist and myself. So seeing that reception from other players is it's validating down to our core of what we are as people, as artists. And it's a rare experience that you get to see people truly appreciate things that you've done in your lifetime as an artist. So it's an absolutely just wonderful thing to see people love the things that you make. So that's been my favorite part.
I honestly have to agree, because I mean, this is my first world release, obviously on this end, and it's crazy to see like just the amount of love when it comes to like this entire thing, because y'all put in so much work. I mean, community manager, I don't really do much other than throw feedback around and whatnot. So like seeing
come on,
everybody,
Kyle, don't be modest.
no, because like everybody did such a great job, and I've never been in a creative environment like this before. So it's just really, really amazing to see everybody with the positive attitude, because I obviously love this world. I'm a player, and playing through this world was incredible from my end. So seeing the same reception from me, from you guys, it means, I'm assuming it means a lot.
Kyle is also the one who does much of the TikToks. It's kind of a team effort on that one. And check out our latest TikTok, tiktok.com/Wizard101.
I wonder who made the TikTok.
Oh, that would me. Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, I'm far too Generation X to even wrap my head around that stuff. As I said in our first TikTok, I don't get it. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great.
So
the latest one in particular, I was like, okay.
Do you have a favorite favorite thing about this world, Spark?
I like the weirdness of it. Just every area you're asking yourself what's happening, and like if only real life was like that, where you had giant fire hydrants in one area and you had talking dogs in another area and magic on top of it. And I mean, Wizard101 is so magical that way to begin with, but then Novus just takes it to the next level, in my opinion.
Nice. Kyle, do you have a favorite or no?
All right, I zoned out. Somebody said I just tweeted Kyle, so I checked my phone. Well, what was happening?
I was saying, do you have a favorite? What's your favorite thing about Novus?
Oh, I already kind of said it. I love just the feedback and like the reception that you guys are giving. It's truly incredible, and that's actually why I love my job. I get to hear what you guys have to say, and it's amazing, and I love it. Dream come true.
You need to hand more of it to us writers. We are insecure beings who thrive on praise.
Always.
Hey, that's great.
I love the whole dev team, bro. But like, I personally always wanted to talk to a writer at King's Isle, because I always wanted to express my gratitude on the story, because I'm a huge lore person. I honestly, I don't really get much into like PvP, and one thing that really let me stay on Wiz for so long, because I've been playing for like over 10 years, right? So one thing was the writing, and I always been interested in the lore ever since like day one of playing it, So I always wanted to tell a writer at King's Isle that I really appreciate the story writing that goes on throughout all the worlds.
I humbly thank you. I am at King's Isle because an old friend of mine and the creative director told me that, nope, we're committed to story. And I was like, okay. And then, the first thing I did when I sat down and started working on Pirate, one of the first talks that I had was, how can we take story further? How can we make story work better in the game than it works now? And that was great. And yeah, we put a lot of thought into the writing. And it's funny, it took me about 7 years to end up working on Wizard, but it has been such a joy. And we appreciate your appreciation.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I would
I
have
try
to agree
express that.
literally 100% with you, Speedster, because like, I mean, look where I am now. Like, I fell in love with the game in 2008 when I was a wee lad, and I was like, you know what? My dream's to work at King's Isle. That's it. And it's because of the story. Like that story kept me in the game.
And like I remember you, Kyle, when you had like your YouTube channel and everything, and when you was making content, and like when you actually like announced that you was working at King's Isle, I was so happy for you, bro. 'Cause I was like, that's the dream right there. You know what I mean?
It's a lie.
I was like, that's the
Seriously.
dream right there, everybody reaching the dreams. Cause that's
Thank
a
you.
crazy like achievement. So I just want you to know that I think that's a wild achievement that you would achieve like way back then, like when you first announced it, and like I haven't forgotten it like ever since like you made
Aw.
like your channel and everything. Always think
Thank
like,
you. I mean,
I've actually
so
got a
much.
question for Kyle.
Okay.
You ready? Okay.
No.
So having done that, right, you've gone from being a player and a streamer to being part of like, you know, the dev team and being part of King's Isle. What's the one thing that you wish that people could see behind the scenes that you didn't see when you were a streamer and stuff?
Oh God, that's like a really great question.
It is.
I feel terrible. I might be like, oh, I'm gonna pull a Matthew and be like, give me time to think about it. Actually, wait, pause. I'm gonna do like some really sad self-promotion, kind of. So, we are planning on doing a stream soon where we're gonna gather some KI folks, and we're obviously that we're from the community, and we're gonna just do a huge talk. So we'll do that eventually. We don't have like a date for it yet, but I want.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning it. I was like, you're foreshadowing what's coming up. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. I can't
Yeah, so we're
wait
gonna
for
do
them
this,
to-
but a bigger version of it. But I guess
Yeah.
to like answer your question, something that is like behind the scenes, I don't even know. I guess, well, for some reason, the only thing coming to my mind right now is where Jackie's from. But like, that's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, I can't think of anything crazy right now.
Okay.
I think. Okay, so I'm
It's
gonna
all
answer the
Jeff's
question now. So my answer to the question was like, what's the favorite thing about it? So my personal favorite thing about this world, first off, shout out to Nelson Everett.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he be in the stream sometimes, and like I personally think that he thinks I'm crazy because he be seeing me spaz about the soundtracks because I love the music personally. Like the music to me, it's just phenomenal. So shout out to Nelson for that. And also, my favorite thing about this world is the message behind it, with design and everything. Like his whole development as a character, the Manticore reveal, that was straight up beautiful for me. And like the music behind it, that was a huge turn point. And just everything about this world honestly makes it top 3 for me. Like even like the areas, the combat, I love everything about it. But the main shine for me personally with this whole thing was designs like character development and the Manticore. Even though he had like a short appearance, I really loved the Manticore and how menacing he was when he was introduced on who he really became, like who he was. You know what I mean? So that was my personal.
Cool.
Like he had a real huge presence. So should we get into? Do y'all want to do the live questions?
Sure.
Okay.
We might
I'm
not
game.
be able to answer all of them, so don't be disappointed if you get a "we're not too sure, a designer's not here."
we are taking, I think Kyle, you just tweeted a little bit ago, taking questions for KI Live, which is due and set for next week.
Oh yes, I will be tweeting that
yeah.
soon. I haven't tweeted it yet, but we
Yes.
want Novus themed questions.
Okay. So the first question is there a possibility of gear trading being implemented into the game?
I have no idea. I'm not a designer.
That's a designer question.
Yeah.
That's why.
If you
yeah.
want to know stories and art, we can help you for sure.
Yes, I a long time ago learned to, you know, if there's another discipline and they're really good at it, just leave it with them. You know, so it's like design is design stuff, art is art stuff. I'm not going to tell them how to do it. So, but anyway, continue.
I see someone asking why mustaches.
Why mustaches?
That is a good
So,
question.
Great question. Yeah.
So we
It
did.
deserves a response.
So mustaches, not only, so if you'll notice the big baddie of that area has a giant mustache, and he is very self-absorbed. He thinks very highly of himself.
Very.
And the mustache is kind of an extension of that. It's a kind of peacocking thing. So that the mustache is literally his ego kind of come to life. So that's why those little flying mustaches are there.
I would never get over like his like boss room, whatever, like his kingdom room, like at the top of Stone of Heaven, like of him holding up the pillars. That area to me showed how big his ego was. I was like, geez.
Oh, it's enormous. Like, yeah, he is all ego.
I was like, what is this? It was crazy that he and I'll be honest. I appreciate the writers, like I said before. I'm actually glad y'all kind of stirred away from him after a while. It's like y'all knew when his time was up and y'all didn't like try to force him through, like for me personally. I'm glad like y'all kind of like stirred off a bit like right now for him and focused on the Manticore, and like he had his time and his message was just he has like a huge ego and everything. So I just want to say that was a great point for me as well in Novus. Like y'all knowing when to stay on a certain person and when to move him along. It was just that for me.
Yeah, and whoever said in the chat the mustaches reminded them of Salvador Dali, they are also not far off. That was also, when we were like, obviously looking at surrealism, you cannot do it without Salvador Dali. And there is a character actually in there named Salvador that is a nod to Salvador Dali.
The next question I have, did the other worlds of the Spiral who has shards in their sky just not reach them? That was another question.
Yes. Yes. Basically, for better or for worse, either they couldn't or they decided not to.
And the world that did get shards were like, I remember they saying like Darkmoor. That was another one that had a shard. I'm trying to remember the whole list. I forgot which one. The other ones that had the shards. Do y'all remember like which worlds was announced that had shards? I remember she announced it. Who had one?
Raja.
Oh. Okay. I remember obviously the ones like Makista and Marleybone had them. But I remember the other ones.
Yes, Raja had one. Yes. Often when we throw out a big long list of names, it has a purpose.
Right.
And for that list, it was more important to give you the impression that they were everywhere than it was which worlds we named, if you know what I mean.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And we always throw out a world or two that we haven't done simply because we know how much the community loves hearing about them.
Me included.
Yep.
The next question is, are there any plans for Stargater? I personally don't know Stargater.
Oh, Stargater. He's
There is a nod in the beginning. I believe it's Mubu mentions
the Stargater. Yes. Yep. Stargater is an ongoing plot thread. Let me go back to my old standby and say that would be telling.
That's great, yeah. If it helps, I put these questions in here because I'm curious too. Anyway, it's great.
I had one more art question. I accidentally passed it. The art question was, okay, so in the concept art, as you can see, even like in Novus here, there's like 5 pair of hands. Now I wanted to know if that was intentional due to like there being like, how many settlements? There's like 4 settlements here. And I was thinking the 5th one could have been like design himself, like these front 2 ones where the gates are, and then the one surrounding each pair is symbolizing a world like a world power or the Spiral Empires, at least one of them, like one's representing like Polaris, Makista, because it makes sense for me like number wise on how many I've seen. So I'll just wonder if that was intentional or if I'm just taking it to a whole different point and it didn't make sense for me.
So the symbolism, all the symbolism in here is direct, except for what you just mentioned. The number of hands didn't have, like, honestly, it was just the amount that we could kind of fit around to kind of make it the size that we needed it. But everything else is very direct. Like the idea of the hands, you know, holding the ones that are reaching out that are kind of, you know, flat. That was important. The fact that the fingers actually do have fingerprints on them. The eye, the fact that the water is flowing up into the eye, all of those things were very precisely thought out and done for a reason. But yeah, the number of hands was probably the one thing that we did not do for a reason. that was more of just a physical constraint when we were building the level.
Okay, I'm just crazy. I have a question about the eye though, because I never knew, because when questing you really didn't even have to do nothing with the eye. So I'm just curious to like the symbolism of the eye and the water itself. Is it like him crying because he's trying so hard to please everybody but he can't? Is that the symbolism for it, or like what's the symbolism?
So the idea, you'll see there's body parts and odd body parts all around Novus, and it is basically supposed to be that, you know, design is the body of the world. That was kind of the overall theme, and the idea of the reverse crying is I always thought about it as, you know, design, because he's trying to figure everything out. He's trying to make it better. He's trying to kind of reverse sadness almost. So I always thought that was a really kind of good image for that. And yeah, and then the idea of the hands that we see everywhere, you know, I mean, the idea of like, you know, he has the whole world in his hands. It's very kind of bits and pieces of ideas that really kind of, you know, show that design is the world and is the body of this world.
Nice. I really like that. Now, we're about to wrap up here because we're hitting our limits. But I just let out a tweet like before we did this and before we got a call and everything. Now, since I got a writer here, chat, you know, I gotta get the writing joint down. You know what I mean, chat? Look, right. So I had a post because I was sitting somewhere in my room and just thinking. And then hold on, let me pull up the question. Now, if you know, like if you got to the end of Novus, obviously the worlds hate you. Like Polaris hates you, Makista, they gunning for you, right? So my whole thing was, I said possible spoiler, I can kind of see something that could possibly happen in the next world. You don't have to like confirm it because I know like y'all like probably working on it still, but I said we are kind of on the run from Marleybone, Polaris, Valencia, and Makista. They need to be reminded that we are good, and who can do that? I said Headmaster Ambrose, he's back. Now, I don't know if y'all already had that planned out or anything, or I'm just tripping. But I think that would be a great return, personally, me. Because I think he'll be like a nice person to represent us, since he's a classic, he's a legend, he's nostalgic, and he's been written out lately. So I think that would be like a great comeback for him. So
I can neither confirm nor deny anything about the next world.
Oh. I'll take that.
We know its name, and we know generally what is going to happen. But I am not prepared to speak of anything in detail. I will say that's a pretty cool idea.
I hope so, because I was just sitting there and I was thinking, because I miss Headmaster Ambrose. I miss him a lot, and like I was like, what if he could come back some way? And I personally feel like that would have been like a great way to introduce him. But I always got my faith in the writers team anyways, because y'all haven't did anything wrong yet in my eyes. So
putting on the pressure.
Yeah.
There you go. You got ideas there now, guys.
But yeah, any last messages before, or last opinions or anything about Novus that you want to know? Oh yeah, got you. But any last mentions of Novus that you want the community to know before like the KI life?
Play the side quests.
The side quest? Oh did I complete it yet or no?
No,
Am I
you
tripping?
complete it yet.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Got you. Hold on, let me take this picture. You're locked in.
There's a side quest chain in Polaris, which I dearly love and is so freaking strange.
And there's a side quest in New Vicorgia where Chris and I voice together in like the quest line, and it's so great and it's so fun.
Yes.
I gotta turn this bad boy in. Oh yeah, chat. Wallaroo's next. Which I'm actually surprised y'all announced which world was next, to be honest. I was surprised.
Wasn't it a name drop? Like, I remember when I first was playing in our like private server, and when, well, eventually, actually no, it was before, after that actually. Anyway, when I heard the name, I'm getting excited. I lost it. I was like, oh, Russia.
Usually it's a mystery until like till y'all announce it later. But like we telling y'all this time, I was like, "Dang."
We've been waiting for this world for a minute. I think it's great.
Once again, we figured, let's do something different.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped for it. I kind of have an imagination. Like somebody asked me another stream, like what I think it will look like. I said I think it will look like kind of hints of Zafaria, but like just more grass. It'll be like a lot of open fields of grass. I felt like that was my answer to that question when he asked me that.
Those discussions are happening right now, right, Carl?
Those discussions are happening right now. So the decisions are being made, and like as we speak. So that's it. It kind of gives you an idea of how far ahead we plan and we start working on things. So like pretty much Novus has just gone to bed, and for us, and we're already rolling on to the next one.
Yeah, it's wild. I feel like that actually might be the craziest part. That'll be my answer, is how far in advance we have to do everything. Because like I've been hearing the word Novus well before y'all even got it, and so finally when it came out, it's like I'm kind of done. Like I've been like that was a lot.
That's actually what I wonder. I wonder how like far ahead y'all be when y'all write and like release. I'd be like, who knows? They probably like 2 worlds ahead by now. And we just late.
Well, there's a few ways to look at that, and I know, like I remember back in the days of Lost on TV, it was like, nope, we have the whole thing written out. It's in a box, and if we die, they can finish. And that obviously wasn't true. So I'm not even going to say that. Basically, what happens is when we start the arcs, we figure out what the arc is about, and then we figure out what the worlds are going to be, and we're pretty solid on that, and we know where that's going. And then as we do a world, basically with each world basically takes about a year. We start basically next week, and we really, really go round and round, and we hammer out the details of what's going to happen in the next world down to the quest level, the quest goal level even. Go here, talk to that guy, kill that thing, now gather this, go there. And then we're done with all of that by April or so, and our primary goal there is to come up with our art list that we hand off to art so that they can start building it. And then, in the summer, we actually write all the dialogue, and then late in the summer, we oversee the recording of the dialogue, and by then, stuff is coming together, so we playtest, and then the world gets released, and we watch all the streams.
Yeah.
So
and even
that's
before
how,
the art.
yeah.
Go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, we don't have any scripts written for the next world yet, but we have a lot of notes that we took down as we thought of stuff, for a long time, all the way back in Imperia. Sometimes the thoughts will pop into your head. It's like, ooh, that would be good for X world. Write that down. And so, we have stuff. We have Legos in the box, but nothing is written yet. Okay, Carl, you go.
Yeah, and basically, right, what Sam was saying is like right now is the time that we really start sitting down together, writing in art, and we start talking about kind of co-visions. Like they start giving me ideas about how they want the story to go, how the themes that they're trying to to get out there, and then that starts to shape where we want to go, kind of thematically. As far as we have who represents what in kind of like what's a lemur, what is what are these characters, what are the bears, like we start kind of like going back and forth trying to figure out who's who and what's what and how it should look and what would best get the feeling across for the story, and those kind of kind of horse trading and kind of back and forth is really what's going to start to happen now, and then really heavily like right at the first of the year. So
Yep.
Okay, so I know you just confirmed that you don't have the script ready for the next one, but I just wonder if you can answer this.
Good thing.
So I wonder if y'all have the notes for this. Now, I don't know if you can confirm or deny or not. Can you tell us how many worlds are going to be in this arc? Can you at least announce that or not? Like how many numbers, like what the number of worlds are for this arc that y'all have?
I'm going to overcome Spark's authority and say this next world is going to wrap up arc 4.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Yeah, we basically at the end of Novus, we have hit the bottom. We're in that deep pit that you always get to in the end of Act 3, and then Act 2 in the 3-act structure, and then in Act 3 you climb your way out of the pit, go through a lot of trouble, and finally achieve a good ending.
Oh shoot! Flying by these arcs. Oh wow. Okay.
And that was the thing. Once we realized how long it was going to take to get to know the Nothing to the degree we wanted to know them, that's when we went, you know what? This is going to be 4 worlds and not 3. And we're like, yeah, okay, that's fine. It's what the story needs.
How much does the community's feedback, and even like today, right now, the chat and Speedster's comments and ideas influence, if at all, future worlds?
It definitely influences us. We look at we're constantly looking at what people like. We're looking at what they don't like. Part of the reason why as soon as we go to test or to live, we hang on just, all we do is watch streams all day because we just want to see if the jokes landed, and if that's as funny to other people as it is to us. But yes, we have looked at forums and Reddits and seen, basically points have been raised that have made us go and consider things from slightly different angles.
Yeah, the community, our community is so great like that, that I just wanted to give that nod to all of you listening, that opportunity, asking that question. Well, do they listen to us in this way too? And yes, we are constantly, like Sam just said, watching your live streams, hearing your feedback, not just on the design of the balance of combat and other things that you kind of think of first when you think about, like, are they getting our feedback? But in these other areas too, the story and the immersion of the story / art, in this case of our roundtable today, where it's you, the wizard, on a journey through these worlds. And we want to make that as exciting and fun and a thing you can share with your friends as well that are also on that same journey. And so it's you who are giving us that important confirmation of what we did in the past to move it forward.
Yeah, can I add something here, Matt? So one of the things that I will say is that earlier, Speedy, you said like, hey, you've been playing for 10 years, and it's a huge, like, that's one of those things. It's like it's been a huge investment for you, right? It's part of your life.
Yeah.
And like even on the art team, so I've actually been working at KI for 17 years now. I have artists that are right there with me that have also been working 17 years, 10 years. And I think the thing about Wizard101 that is so important to us is that it's honestly, it's part of our life. It's our blood and sweat and tears. It's time away from our families. It's we pour our heart and soul into it. And almost all of my artists have been around for a long time because they love it. We love Wizard101. We love the community. We love making art and stuff it's that we think that y'all enjoy. So it's one of those things where we love doing it because y'all love seeing it. And we do, believe it or not, even on the art team, when it launches and those first streams start coming out, we literally are just like kind of watching and in that waiting for those moments when someone goes into an area and is like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing mount, or this gear is gorgeous, or oh my gosh, look how beautiful this or crazy this character is. It's absolutely fulfilling on just a spiritual level, when you've invested that much of your life into something, to see other people appreciating it. So we very much appreciate the community, and we do really care about what y'all say.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I'm just glad I'm just glad personally, me, especially this kid that would like hurry up, get home after school, boot up the computer, to pull the seat up, and then log into my account and be playing Wizard101 until my grandmother yells at me enough to get off. And then on weekends wake up super early just to play some more. So like, as a person like that, when I was younger, and even playing it now, making content on it, and is actually sitting here talking to people behind the scenes of Wizard101, personally, it's a dream come true, and I just want to really express to y'all like my complete gratitude on help building my childhood, because a lot of my childhood, it just really Wiz is like a super huge part of it, and I'm pretty sure that's a lot of people's part watching the stream and in the community. They really appreciate all your hard work, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to really show that, especially to like writers and art designers, community managers, every single person working at King's Isle. I really appreciate all the gratitude, especially on Pirate and Wiz, you know.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
We'll have to do this again. This was a great stream, Speedster. Thank you for inviting us on. I think we all really enjoyed this, and hopefully everybody watching, listening did as well. We're already planning 2023 content, and that includes more roundtables, more live streams. And this is just the beginning of another great year of working with you, the community, on these sort of things. So we might have another one for you, Speedster. Any others who are listening that are YouTubers and live streamers as well that want to get in on the action, and you have a channel, it doesn't have to be a huge channel. We usually look for somebody who has a topic of interest, somebody who's like, yeah, I'd like to learn about the story. Let's talk about that. That's why we're talking with Speedster today, and just gotta let us know, and we'll talk with you about it.
I have a okay, so since you mentioned that, just real quick, I want to mention one person, and I started watching her streams, and she loves the story just how I love the story. Her name, I don't know if y'all already contacted her or looked her up already or seen her. Her name is Madison Claire. She's on Twitch.
Yeah, we know her. Yeah, I've emailed her a couple of times because I think it was either a couple of things that she had a question on, and we talked to all the live streamers as well. So there's probably not very many where we don't know the name, but I will be sure to let you know, because we want to get in touch with everybody who plays the game.
Okay, cool. So I just wanted to just mention, because I'll be in her streams and she like absolutely love them like how I love them, and she actually awakened me on some things of the story that I didn't even know about. So I just wanted to just bring awareness to her, but obviously y'all already know her, so I just think that would be a cool event for her to do whenever
she's listening. Feel free
Yeah,
to
she's live right
reach
now.
out.
Okay, wait.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm following her right now.
Nice. But yeah, I appreciate y'all a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so
interacting. Interacting
She's
directly.
dying.
Interacting
She's
directly with the
having a
community
heart
is
attack. Sorry.
one of the best parts of this job. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm up to do this whenever.
Dude, and thank you,
forward.
Speedy, for being such a gracious host.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
No, thank y'all,
Absolutely.
man, because this is definitely a highlight right now for me. I've been trying, I tried not to cry like 3 times so far. I wasn't gonna let anybody know, but screw it. I almost cried like 3 times, especially expressing my gratitude. Yeah, but I'm a soldier out here. You know what I mean? I'm like one of the Valencian soldiers out here standing strong. But I almost cried like 3 times. It got rough.
Very nice. Well, you have a great weekend. Everybody listening, have a great weekend. We're gonna let you go so you can play more Wizard.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Shout out to everybody. Sam, Kyle, Spark. Sam, Carl, Spark, Kyle. I appreciate you all. I was trying to find the name list again. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. I keep saying it, but thank you. Yeah, have a good night.
Thank
You have a good one, man. Thank
Bye,
you so much.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hope you guys enjoyed, man. That is honestly surreal. Oh God. Yo, it's phenomenal, bro. It's crazy, yo. I never thought I'll like reach this, bro. I swear to God, I did, bro. Like, so weird, bro. Played the joint for 10 years, bro. Yo, the freak. Played the joint for 10 years, bro. Being a little kid, man. And then just, oh my God. Talking to the people behind the scenes. The coolest people ever, bro. I talk to community managers, bro. I talk to people, the artists, the writers, bro. Freak. And how much I like imagine the story, how much I love it, how much I replay the story, yo. Like, God, man. They're just a message, bro, that reach your dreams, bro. Swear to God, I never thought I'd do this crap. God, man. Alright, I was holding that for too long, man. I'll try my hardest not to like cry in the middle of the call, bro. I was losing it. Trying my hardest. Shout out to him, man. Shoot, it's like hurt. And then earlier too that I was listening to the freaking writing, bro. A freaking oh my God, a design, bro. That's yo. I swear to God, I almost cried earlier too. Just listening to the freaking writing, bro. I didn't cry in a minute either. Shoot. Oh God. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm be on the game for a little minute though. I got another. Oh, Frey. 7:30. I got a Speedster stream I gotta do tonight, man. So make sure y'all like, bro, subscribe, homies. I appreciate you tremendously. Y'all are great, man. Great moment. I hope to do some more KI lives, bro. Been with you for 5 whole months, and I plan on sticking with you for as long as you let me. We're growing together. We've almost tripled in size since I found you streaming, and it's just insane. Yeah, bro. Shout out to everybody. If you make Wiz content, shout out to you. You know what I mean? Shout out to Madison Claire, legend. I try to shout you out. You know what I mean? Because I see how you react to the story. We're almost like the same person. So, shout out to Collins G. Shout out to Moon Garden. I be seeing y'all on Twitter, bro, and I be in the shadows of y'all streams and stuff too. I'm a lurker, man. I'm sorry, but I'm a lurker. Shout out to Ferric that was here earlier, man. Shout out to Liam. legends, goats. I just appreciate everybody, man. This junk, yo, this junk's weird. Oh my god, I cried like a baby just then, but I don't care. Screw it. Shout out to Nelson. Shoot. Shout out to Nelson. Shout out to Surviving Vision G. Storm Cloud. And homies. Shoot, man, got me in here balling and crap. Okay. Cool, tight. Okay, tight. All right, so make sure y'all join the Discord. G, I'll be giving away 2 codes on Discord. I'm giving away 2 codes on that Discord. Join that Discord, baby. Yo, Tap, do you mind setting up the thingamajiggy? Shoot. Regent you Moon Garden. I'm giving away 2 codes for Discord. So make sure you join that Discord. Join that link. Hit that link. I appreciate y'all, homies. Y'all are phenomenal. I'm gonna be more active on Discord too. I don't talk a lot, but 2 codes. Oh, sorry, 2 codes. They're 2.5k crowns each code. So join that joint there for crowns. Shit, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Join that bad boy. Giveaway. Blessings. Man. You can't even type. Appreciate it, Hercules. Hercules just see me crying like a baby. Oh, God. He buffer nerve Karulu. I just saw it only 40% health back now. Yeah, I seen that too. I'm not sure what happened with it though. Guys, tell her to make the capes dieable. We can see. I can see if I get that to them. Jesus, Jed. Oh man. What was the poll winner? Hold on. I think it was Roblox. I mean this, bro. To anybody that want to make Wiz content or just content in general, just do it, bro. Stop messing around. Stop playing games. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, let me end this now. Get this right out the way. I'm playing Genshin Impact tonight. So if any of y'all play Genshin or want to watch your boy play Genshin, and I'm about to be close to be able to like play with other people, so you know what I mean? Let's go. I'm playing that tonight though. We be having fun too on the Friday stream. It'd be different games, but like we be having fun. I swear. You know what I mean? I mean, Wiz comes to the bar. I'd rather edit for you, cause I mean. Nah, it's good, Tap, bro. And Tap, I appreciate your editing, G. I appreciate it tremendously. I appreciate it, homies. But yeah, make sure y'all join that Discord, homie. Make sure y'all join that Discord. Yes, sir. Here. Free code, Tommy. Oh shoot, I'm lagging out. Guess that's my sign. What was the question, Jed? I'm lagging out now. The internet's telling me pack it up. But the internet telling me. I'm glad at least got the good stuff out. Straight. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a great stream, homies. Hope you guys had fun. I will see you all later. Make sure to like, subscribe, down notification bell. Keep up the crispy clean Wizard101 and Buy101 content. Walkthrough reviews, guides, giveaways, other grades on the channel, homies. And I will see you all later. Have a wonderful night. I'll try to stream later on today if the internet's better. Have a wonderful night, G. Peace. Peace, homies.